That's right. That'll be the prezzo before we go, yeah.
One, two. Good afternoon, everybody. On behalf of the Emerald RSL, I'd like to welcome you all to the 2025 Anzac Day annual match between Emerald Football Club and Gembrook Football Club. What a great day for footy. Sun's shining, there's no wind. We've already seen some fantastic play with the reserves getting up after a great match. The netball club also for Emerald won this today, and I think we're all holding our breath to see what's going to happen next. Today we'll read the ode, we'll have a minute's silence, and then we'll have our Australian and New Zealand anthems. Today is a huge day in the calendar of our football season, and of course for the nation of Anzac. I'd like to introduce you to the microphone, Ken Hall.
As the spirit of the Anzacs is rekindled by the armed forces during all of our country's conflicts, let us, who now share in the freedom of this present age, pause and relate to those now passed on, having served their nation in the cause of liberty. They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them. we forget.
Please remaining upstanding for the Australia and New Zealand national anthems sung by Mark Femby.
Ia hoa atua unga iwi matura ata whakarona mi aroha noa kia hue kau tei pai kia toto atu whai ana ki chia mai Aotearoa. God of nations, at thy feet, in the bonds of love we meet. Hear our voices we entreat, God defend our free land. God's Pacific triple star, from the staffs of strife and war, make her praises heard afar. God defend New Zealand. Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are one and free. We've golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is good by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Thank you very much. Game on.
Tell people that we are going to ads.
Okay, so announce that, yep. Just got a few commercials. We'll be back with this contest, a rivalry, local rivalry for Anzac Day weekend between Gembrook and Emerald.
I can't hear anything. I can't hear anything.
Sorry to brakes.
I can't hear anything through these.
All good.
So it's going to be okay.
Right. Oh, yeah, cool. So we're throwing to a couple of breaks before we jump into this crucial local clash. Both sides looking for win number 1 on the season, Gembrook and Emerald. Beautiful day for footy as part of this Anzac weekend. Just had a terrific pre-game ceremony, and we'll have the bounce soon.
Testing. 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 Is it working? Testing. 1, 2. Red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather.
Let's get this race in and then I'm good. Welcome along to Emerald for this crucial round 3 Anzac Day clash, a local rivalry between these two sides. Darren Parkin is my name here for Game Face. Welcoming you along, Lance. Nice to work alongside you for the second time this season. What are we expecting this afternoon?
I'm expecting a pretty tough game, actually. As you say, both teams have yet to hit the 4 points on the ladder, and they both have a tendency to fall off after half time. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, there's some heavy defeats, probably patched over a little bit by some inaccuracy over recent weeks. Gembrook trying to get hands on the ball first. Emerald will flick it up. They'll try to cross through. Not the biggest ground in the competition, so certainly a chance once you get through, like Rich has done there, to go inside 50. Front and centre there, it's the vice-captain in Gross. Flicks it towards the top of the goal square. It's coughed up. And they're trying to jostle around with it at the fall of the ball. Emerald would be happy with a forward line stoppage here and they'll get their wish.
Strong start to the game here, Darren. They're definitely pushing forward. Either team's going to get away with easy kick this game.
Now the tight ground is going to play a bit of a part in that as well. A strong tackle put on Lewis there. And brought to ground some good early heavy bodywork from Gembrook as they try to work their way in. Of course, a bit of AFL flavour. Robin Nahas in the lineup. Of course, Aaron Ferrito, Michael Ferrito, a main staple of this Gembrook side. Cade Simpson, originally from that part of the world as well, the Carlton star. So this will be a throw-in. So still yet to see Gembrook Cockatoo have an effective possession on the football. Emerald have kept it inside their forward zone. Johnson trying to guide the tap down. It works out towards the boundary line, and they're happy to see that out, certainly in no rush.
Stage of the game, both teams are playing very tight physical footy. Gembrook just pushing forward a little bit stronger.
So there's a free kick in that contest. Non-controlling umpire has found that. So a little bit of relief for Gembrook, who will get their first meaningful possession. Thump it straight up the middle of the ground. Not the kindest of bounces. Trapped well there by Spalding. Worked out by hand. It's crashing through, flicking it over the top here towards Wood. Sends the hand pass wider again. Jostling of bodies around at the fall of it. Going in there was Alcott to lay the tackle. So you see.
They're just going to tighten it up as it goes forward. Stop the Bombers from attacking goal.
So Tilly, the captain, just off the back of this pack, running into a teammate there was Webb. Dangerous kick across the ground into the middle, taken there by Gross, who places the kick very nicely out towards Pepe. If it bounces up for him, he's a chance. It doesn't sit. So Gembrook trying to clear it. It looked like, to my mind anyway, that he got the effective hand pass away, but the umpire deeming no. So free kick to Emerald, who will go into the corridor and find the target in Bell.
That's a nice little passing board there.
Although that's going to be disallowed. They're suggesting they hadn't set the mark, so it'll come back to Pepe.
It was a nice little pass.
It was. It doesn't change that.
It's illegal.
Getting a fair bit of encouragement from the balcony to have a shot. He's going to try to do the same kick, and it should have worked. He had a teammate cut him off there, and Bell was the intended target. But someone got into the leading channel and took the path from him. Hand passed out towards Freighter for the Gembrook Cockatoo and worked over the line for a throw-in.
Smart defensive play there.
Yeah.
Finding, probably a little bit foolish in kicking it to exactly the same spot, but so that the hole could be filled.
Healesville Greyhounds bringing you all of the action here, and of course yet to have a score on the local footy hub scoreboard. Another inside 50 coming though for Emerald as Webb fed the hand pass back. They chip it right up to the edge of that attacking zone and over for another throw in on the far side.
So it looks like a bit of an arm wrestle so far. Doesn't look like any teams really pulling any advantages here.
So Gembrook doing well not to concede a score, although they've conceded a free kick for a push in the back there. I thought it was a tiny bit on the softer side, but it goes to Kapunki, who has it about 60 from home. Thumps it right to the teeth of goals. Pushing back hard there was Johnson. Couldn't quite take the mark. Gembrook will send the kick out. They've had a player just come off the bench here, which would have been effective there for Walker, but Emerald do pretty well to jostle it around. Taken again here by Spalding. Spalding will get it back, although the hand pass sort of tunnel balled him. Gross gets it back. And now they'll switch across and try to reload on the far side. There is no one really behind Webb. Just one or two contests. Pushes it ahead to Rich. And now Rich, can he find the target inside 50? Well cut off again by the Gembrook defence. Hit the ground running. Thump it forward. Werner caught behind. If it gets over the back, there a chance. It doesn't. McKimmie goes back towards Sewers, who's got it. Gets a little 1-2. Flashing through. Drives it to half forward. That's going to fall short again. And the easy mark taken by Snoxall across half back. So we've been going nearly 5 minutes without a score at this stage. And that's the benefit of having a little bit of time in defence. It was not the cleanest of kicks and a little bit fumbly. It's now worked out and it finds its way to Weller. The two number 13s in action. Weller sends that up towards the wing position. Punched to ground there by Spalding. Good early contest, no score across the first 6 minutes or so here.
Very tight contest so far. Both teams have a lot to prove.
Good crowd. There was some good crowds across the Anzac Day fixtures yesterday and the Anzac weekend as a whole. Gajanovic turns it over again. So the Gembrook Cockatoo halfbacks cleaning a lot of this up. Finds Van Dam. Won't take too much imagination to know what his nickname would probably be. Chipped short. Walker has it in front of his own side's interchange bench. They'll share it again. And good switch. They've got a chance for some run. I'll go the kick instead. Has to be precise. Trying to mark it on the chest there was Marley Williams. Fair bit of experience, of course, in him, but wasn't able to hold on to it. Fair bit of experienced flavour at the highest level here as Gembrook win their first free kick for holding the ball. Short kick backwards. Just lucky they've had the space to work in. They're at the top of their defensive goal square and a little bit pinned here, so got to be precise. They go back from where it came. Chipped in the middle of the grounds. Gorsoa has a bit of space, not expecting that ball to get to him there was Alcott, and dropped the mark as a result. It's turned over. Rich, there's a bit of a holding infringement, advantage paid, and they'll get a shot at goal from the subsequent entry. First meaningful shot at goal in the game. They've had a couple of long-range scrambles, but this will be a chance for Davies.
It's an interesting passage of play there when it got on the switch, and they came around the side. If it wasn't for that infringement there, I think it probably would have bounced out because Gembrook's defence is holding up very strong.
They're able to take advantage of that turnover in the middle of the ground. So not an easy kick, 45 metres out. Looks okay, slams into the post. So the opening score is a behind, post still moving. Short kick out. In the foot of the mountains, they take the mark on the half-back flank. Kick has to be good. Mark spilt again in there by Walker. Can they get hurt on the turnover again? Another intercept mark. That's about 5 in their defensive 50. Van Dam has it back pocket. Yeah, they certainly are. That was touched according to the umpire. Hansen claiming the mark, but I think it was touched off the boot, not in the marking contest. Hurried snap. Bounces on its end. Trapped by Spalding, who's had a lot of touches early. That's not going to be one. Yeah, great effort. 1%er. Did a terrific job.
First game in the senior
Okay. Very different part of the world to come up into Puffing Billy territory. Flicked into the middle of the ground. Well trapped there by Petter, although Gembrook with half a sniff here. They're yet to actually put the ball inside their attacking 50. Can they get a ball up here? In fact, they'll get better than that. They'll get a holding the ball free kick, which seemed a little harsh on the prior, so it's Marshall. So Marshall had a couple of handball options. Volta was one of them, but should now set it up. So 9 minutes first quarter. He's gone back with a fair degree of purpose here, given the man on the marks inside the centre square. So it's not a huge ground, but would still take, it's a bit of an SCG-like, where the 50 almost hits the centre square. Setting that one up to about 10 metres from goal. Front and centre is going to be all emerald here. Hand pass had to be good. They got the kick away outside of the boot there from Petter. And another intercept mark from Gembrook, who build the wall through the middle of the ground. They'll chip it in short. Volta. Thumps it long. Climbing high at the back, almost taking the mark. Marty Williams front and centre. Left foot snap is drifting, and it's marked right on the line. Doing a good job there was the big man. Kapanki goes now to Hansen. It's not a bad kick into the middle. Did show a little bit of the ball to the Gembrook defence, but at the fall of it, it's okay. McKimmie gets it out towards Karasonyi. Lovely kick forward towards Rich, and Rich will go towards an unguarded square. They can mark, they can play on and roll through the first of the game via Johnson. Good football. So finally able to get over the back of that defence, which had been setting up so well for them. We'll check some around the ground scores at quarter time or when we get the opportunities throughout. So back in the middle. Kapanki going up, took that relieving mark on the goal line a few moments ago. Gembrook Cockatoo looking for the clearance, which they will get this time. Walker floats it wider. He'll now get the ball back again, surrounded by a couple, but good strength in the tackle. They're sharing it by hands. Getting involved there was Weller, who's had a few touches as well. Walker with the third possession in this exchange. Good splitting of the pack. They should be able to get a shot at goal away here with a hurried snap, partially smothered. It deflects over the back. They're still in the contest down there. Just squeezing the kick out of there is Hanson, who's done some nice defensive things. Dempsey. That'll be a down-the-ground free kick, which is unfortunate for Gembrook, because they had a 4-on-1 in the middle of the ground. It's going to go to Rich.
Brookers get a run on towards the goals. They're looking dangerous.
Just probably pulled the trigger at slightly the wrong time. Thumping kick from Rich to the forward pocket. Good strong mark by the last goal kicker in Johnson, who'll find this one a little bit tougher. He'll be kicking from the shaded area on the interchange side.
South side.
Heading down the hillside back into Emerald proper. Kicks from 52 metres. It's not a bad looking strike. That is a beautiful kick. And that is 2 for Johnson, 2 for Emerald, 2-1-13. There's Gembrook yet to score, so getting some reward for some of the control they've had. We've been going 13 or 14 minutes.
Just need to wind up. I think Emerald have been flooding their back line as well to stop Gembrook from scoring their goals. So Emerald just need to find a bit of space down there. Gembrook need to find a bit of space. Emerald just pinging it back out.
Yeah, we've got to maintain some possession of the football as it comes here to Davies, who had the first shot at goal in the game, which was a behind. Secondary bounce in the middle. So Davies and Kapanki combining in the ruck, going up there. Shelton for Gembrook, who should take another defensive mark there, although they spilt it. Almost a free kick for a hold. Of course, I said these two sides, Gembrook beaten by Mount Evelyn last week by 28 points and by Monbulk by 38 the week before. Emerald beaten by Healesville last week by 61 points and by Warriellic by 87 the week before. But Healesville last week kicked 11 goals, 28, which is quite remarkable. Yeah. And Monbulk 10 goals, 24. So both these sides have had opponents that have somewhat let them off the hook. Someone aiming for win number 1 on the season this afternoon. They had almost identical years last year, separated by 1 ladder position, 5 and 13 win-loss records in Div 1. But Emerald starting the better here. Wadsworth sends the ball inside 50. Good courage from players from all angles there, coming from the 4 points of the compass. It's taken out of here for Gembrook by hand. They get it outside defensive 50, but only for a moment.
The Brookers don't seem to be attacking the ball as hard as Emerald. I think showing in the scoreboard here. I think that passage of play there, the interference was a little bit too easy.
So on 50, Gembrook getting numbers at the contest at least here. Out towards Alcott. Boundary line might win this battle, and it does. Hand pass forward. Van Dam brings the kick into the middle of the ground. Hanson had a nice start to the game. Takes a good grab. We've got a few scores filtering through that we'll get to in a moment. Mark taken here by Johnson, who on the evidence of a few moments ago is certainly within range.
Very dangerous today. Nice from a pair of hands, Johnson. It's one of the better players. Winning best player last week.
And not surprising, he's certainly in the frame for that honour this afternoon. That kick's just hung in the air a little bit and dragged out to the right-hand side, helped through for the rush behind. The best on ground for Petter's suspension and brakes. Johnson would have a bit of a hold on that at this stage. Do we have a couple of scores filtering through at this stage? We'll be able to get a few of those when they come to us from some of those other divisions. It's worked up towards Bourne, who takes the mark. It's the hand pass off to a runner. Now quickly they get to centre half forward. Need a bit of voice here. Eventually Werner takes the mark. Man on the mark is at 49. He'll go to the square. Williams at the back. Couldn't take the mark. Trying to go off the ground. Just couldn't quite get there was Wood. And it's a rush behind to represent Gembrook Cockatoo's first score. One behind they are. 2-2-14 to Emeralds. And we're about to hit time on. 18, 19 minutes thereabouts in the quarter. Good ball into the middle of the ground. Edwards. Wider he goes to Dempsey. Quickly to centre half forward. Mark spilt there by Bell. And now Gembrook can take it away. So a slight let off for them, although Van Dam with a touch of the fumbles. Quick kick to the wing position. Floating across the front there was Ferrito. Little left foot kick from Gazzard to half forward for Emerald. That'll be a free kick to Gembrook. They can take advantage if they so wish. They'll go forward with Snoxel the target. Good height. Takes the mark. Left foot floating kick inside 50. Good delivery. Williams got the hands out. Couldn't take the mark. He's still buzzing around here. Umpire deeming that it was pulled in by the tackler as well. So no holding the ball. Snoxel goes up in the ruck. That looked like high contact, and it was on Gazzard there. And a 50-metre penalty, which on this ground is a decent penalty.
Yeah, Davies didn't need to give them a little bit of extra attention after this blue.
And they've made a bit of a hash of that, trying to share it around. Van Dam, who's had a few touches. It's now worked into the middle of the ground. Snoxel nudged underneath the football. No mark to Kapanki, who gets it off towards Pepe. Good ball wide. And again, Dempsey, who's had a few touches, turns it over. So the Gembrook half-back line keeping them in the contest, although giving it back there to Gazzard, who again tried to hand pass it. They just need to settle down. They're in control of things, Emerald, and just creating scenarios like that where they unnecessarily turn the ball over. Bourne gets the free kick. Not the cleanest looking kick down the ground. It tunnel balls through. Gembrook would prefer that go out, and it does.
Gembrook just having a little bit of trouble getting it past their half forward here. And Emerald's back line is tight. I think that's probably less Emerald and more Gembrook with their lack of penetration.
Yep. Kapanki going up in the ruck, feeds that to Karen Sonyi. Long ball, one-on-ones inside. That'll always favour the forwards. Defenders hate that scenario. Adams trying to get back. And a chance at goal directly in front. And this one will be Lewis. So Ben Lewis.
Strong contest there. He pushed his man off too easily there.
Directly in front, drags that kick to the left. 2-3-15 plays one behind. So can Gembrook, we're about 21, 22 minutes in, just find a way to settle in. They've been outplayed, but only 14 points down at this stage. The hand pass was fed wide to the skipper in Tilly. They do well to control this. Not a lot to give it to. That was well faked. Beautiful play. Now they'll go inside 50. Nice looking kick. Still got a chance if it settles for them to run into the open goal. Clever kick. Well finished by Walker, who's done some nice things around the ground. Gets onto the end of one there and dribbles it through for a very good goal.
Good ball movement there.
Absolutely.
Really like that. Tough contests all around the ground there.
Team goal of the day potential there for Architectural Cladding Supplies. And we're here for the Local Footy Hub. Go to localfootyhub.com.au or download the app for all your live games, latest news, match replays, and of course team and player stats. Shout out to my PT, Sam McKinder, in the MP NFL, who had 45 touches last week, playing for Seaford. And it's good if you have those day outs, you can get all of your stats and data. You can even play Supercoach in these leagues, I'm told. So left foot kick out of the middle. That's an effective ball from Pukitis, and it's worked over for a throw-in.
Strong clearance there. I like that.
Tossed back in, punched into the middle of the ground. Emerald looking for the immediate answer. That's a good, neat kick out wide to Webb in the long sleeves. Goes towards the leading forward coming out there in Johnson, who was fairly well interfered with. Umpire deeming that it was play on. It's poked into space there for Karasonyi. Hand pass up towards Schultz. Squeezing hand pass out. Umpire not opting for the bounce there. Picked up by Lewis, who had the last shot at goal. He gets a couple of possessions here. Throws it onto his right boot. Inside out, Torp to the top of the square. Front and centre chance for Emerald. Hand pass comes out. Tried to zigzag through there was Pakitis.
When the unselfish thing just
Yeah, that's right.
wound up in a kick.
Yeah, he tried to draw someone in. That's just been touched before it went out on the full by Werner, who did well to pump the legs and get out there.
The edge of his fingernail, I think.
Tossed back in, taken by Rich, who's had a very good first term. Thumps it long towards the top of the square. At the back, a chance here for Bell to kick the goal. Almost had the first shot of the game, did Bell, but that was the mark that was not allowed. Now he helps himself to a goal at the 25-minute mark of the opening term. 3-3-21 to 1-1-7.
Very, very impressive passionate play there from Emerald. Just managed to make hay while the sun shines from that ball in. Very strong.
The weight of numbers. Yeah, I was going to say the weight of numbers don't have the inside 50 stats, but it would be fairly lopsided. Somewhere in like 16-5 or that sort of vicinity. Yeah, and the defence just eventually not getting overwhelmed. They've hung in there well, but volume of ball is going to break through eventually. Taken out of there by Pepe on the bell to end a pretty entertaining first term. Emerald will be pleased with that final goal coming their way, just to probably give them more of a truer reflection, I reckon. Lance, in terms of their control, a 14-point lead seems maybe a little bit more appropriate for the game.
Well, just stronger heading towards goal, really. Gembrook were just unable to get it past their half forward. Too strong, whereas Emerald just kept peppering through the efforts of Bell and Johnson, who both kicked two apiece.
Yeah,
It was very fine work.
Yeah, the defensive Gembrook holding up pretty well. And Emerald able to eventually break through for a couple of opportunities. Darren Parkin and Lance Lawton here bringing you all of the action on Game Face. Emerald looking for their opening win of the season. Lead it by 14 points at quarter time.
Did have all the other scores up, but then the internet crapped out.
Yeah, I saw that. And then they disappeared.
I was about to call to them. I can't get back on. There we go. Come on, there we go. What have we got here?
There we are. All wrapped up, yeah.
London leading Mundok. 3 Elegant Officer. Hillsville Man Evelyn.
Second quarter about to get underway here at Emerald. 14-point lead to the home side. That late goal on the siren, or 10 seconds before the siren, pivotal in perhaps giving them a more truer reflection of the control that they did have through that opening term. 2 goals to Johnson and 1 to Bell in that term. Walker with a nice finish for Gembrook going the other way. Lance, how you're seeing things at this stage?
I'm seeing things that Gembrook need to do a bit more to get it into their forward line here. They struggled to get it past half forward last quarter, and hopefully they've moved the magnets around to make things a little bit more fluid this quarter.
Yeah, their defence is hanging in there. They just need a bit more out of their midfield group just to give them a bit more drive. And they get a chance here as they paddle it out in front of the running player in Tilly, the skipper. Goes towards the pocket. Little hold on the jumper. Play on to call as Emerald will take it out. Wide kick is effective in the Webb direction. Takes the mark out there on the half-back flank. Worked up the line. Floating across trying to mark it was Lewis, who did a couple of nice things through that quarter. Umpire will come in now and call for the bounce.
Gembrook have regrouped and had a little bit of a chat from the coach. Told them going a little bit harder this time.
It's worked up by Emerald towards attacking 50. It gets through towards Henson. It's a little hand pass away. That was a tiny bit untidy. Marshall with some work to do now, going centrally, which wasn't necessarily the best option. They'll be hoping that they can get a bounce here, and they do.
The defence is working overtime here. They've held up reasonably well, not enough to get a few goals against them. It could be worse.
So an opportunity within about 20 metres of the goal that they are defending for them to just set things up a little bit. Taking his time down there is Marshall. Works it up towards the wing. Good spoil. Front and centre comes to Webb, who's been a busy player through the opening quarter and change so far. Worked up towards the wing position, sharing around nicely, comes towards Volta, who's been lively. They pull the trigger wide. Koisoa has it. The wing position straightens up. Not a bad looking kick. It's going to fall just short of its intended target, but they maintain possession. They now straighten up and kick to the top of the square, and that might bounce through for a goal. They were certainly trying to set that up in the direction of Williams, but he kicks the goal. And I reckon that was Werner who was able to convert. Terrific stuff.
Solid start there from the Brookers.
And they close the gap to 8 points.
Decided to move the ball a little bit quicker than they did.
So in the middle, can they keep that running? Not a noticeable breeze, but perhaps a scoring end or a play end of the ground. Hand pass a tiny bit untidy in the Marshall direction, has time to gather. Sweeping hand pass there from Kaikoa out towards Ferrito. And the mini spud goes up inside 50. They sell a little bit of candy. Getting onto the left foot now, blazing towards the top of the square. And defensive mark taken. 3-3 plays 2-1. Long searching kick outside 50. The high flyers are there for Gembrook. Koisoa is one of those. The free kick going to Emerald though at the front. Short kick gets to Wadsworth. Wadsworth's kick shows a little bit of it to the opposition. Good fly, good contest, and in the end over for a throw-in.
Down the lines, I don't think Emerald will take too many chances here. Definitely got numbers around the ball here, both teams.
Nice little front and centre again here by Wadsworth. Bouncing them inside 50 again. Bell picks it up to Webb. Webb tries to give it back to Bell. His hand pass smothered though. And now Gembrook can link up through the middle. Going to have to be tight. Kick was okay. They find a target inside the square. Chance for Walker. It should be all Emerald underneath the footballer. They don't quite hold on to the mark. The pressure was good. Comes out now towards Gajanovic. Chips it short and the mark is taken. Now the quick ball inside 50. So Emerald will slide the hand pass in. Shaped to handball wide, decides to go into the corridor, playing on there, and it ends up working out effectively. They come through the middle of the ground now. Karajoni turned over. Another possession for Marshall, who's had a few in this quarter, although got himself into a bit of a bind there. Wider it comes to Alcott, over the top, bit of a hospital ball there towards Goikoa, who was caught high.
I'm not sure about the handball there. Look out. Look out, boys.
And now a little bit of a jostle and a push and shove. Close to the boundary, try not to spill over into that interchange area, and Gembrook doing it smartly to play on whilst a few opposition players were out of business involved in that scuffle, so they went to centre half forward. Emerald will loop it into the middle of the ground. Webb just chips the kick effectively. Pepe. Wider he goes on the bounce.
Finding space out of half back.
And they'll chip it in here where Wadsworth has it, right on 50. The man on the mark, Weller, standing on the paint.
Emerald just getting numbers behind the ball and pushing forward there. A little dust up would have shaken a few up, but still sticking to plan. Pushing the ball forward from half back. Easy clearance.
Long, strong kicks, trying to draw back, and it's just missed. Not a bad ball. 3-4. Plays 2-1. Healesville 4-6-30 lead Mount Evelyn 2-5-17. Warri Alec in control 8-3-51 over Officer 2-2-14. And Wandon in control of their match against Monbulk 7-3-45 to 1-1-7 as Gembrook, quick as a flash, have gone to half forward. Then inside looking for Williams, went through the hands. Emerald mop it up across half back. Dinky kick into the middle of the ground. Not particularly effective. Spiralling low over that was Michael Bourne, one of two out there. Michael Bourne and Christopher Bourne. And there was a matches played yesterday on Anzac Day. Olinda Ferny Creek beating Upwey Tacoma by 7 points in that game at the top of the mountain, 6-8-44 to 5-7-37. Gembrook controlling it okay. Taken here by Gazzard. Neat kick, just getting over the outstretched fingers and finding Dempsey. Floats the kick forward. It was touched off the boot. And a high contact free kick to Gembrook. That was a question certainly being asked by Trott. And it goes the way of Goisoa at the fall. Chips to half forward. Alcott. They work it inside. Can they get something at the spill to give them a chance to fire at goal? It's a high snap. Close to the square. Mark Spilt coming out at it there from Snoxall. Hand passes back into the corridor. Just a nearly passage of play. Alcott's not going to be able to get there to impact in time. Yeah, he's with his own ball. Long ball inside, goes through the fingers. If they could break this tackle, they're away. Great defensive effort. There was nothing but an open goal between Trott, or behind Trott. So a great effort to get that rundown tackle and stop Gazzard in his tracks. Dangerous floating kick wide. Edwards was there.
Bodies around a bit
Gotta love it. The cans in the back of the ute. Hand pass out wide. Webb with the floating shot at goal. It'll go across the face. Good work by the big man to force a stoppage in Kapanki. He'll come across and do his work in the ruck. Free kick in the contest and a big one to give away for Gembrook. It'll go the way of Emerald. Shepherd is the signal. And it's not going to go... It's going to go to Johnson, so not to the midfielders who are appealing for a bit of a hold.
Safest pair of hands out there, I reckon. This will do. He's already kicked 2. Well within range.
Lines it up from 45 and misses. So 2 goals, 1 to Johnson. Struck them pretty well through the term.
Local footy hub scoreboard. Emerald 3 goals, 5-23. Gembrook, Cockatoo 2 goals, 1-13. 10 minutes into the second quarter.
Only goal of the term going the way of Gembrook. They'll play on up the middle. Bourne thumping kick right into the middle of the ground. Big punch forward there by McKimmie. Umpire will call for a bounce. 10-point game. 2 behinds to 1 straight in this quarter. A little bit sore down on the boundary is Josh Rich, just doing some sideways running for Emerald. Test out maybe a bit of a corky or something like that. Quick kick forward is okay. Touched off the boot and we'll have a bounce. Centre half forward right at the edge of the square.
Gembrook are just happy to bring it to ground, bring it to contest. Because they've been winning a few of the ball-ups lately. Giving a few clearances away.
Hand pass fed out. Now a good sweeping hand pass to Van Dam, who's got a bit of space. Kick has to be precise, and it was. Taken here by Wood. Spears the left foot kick in. It's over the back. They'll work it out, Emerald, with a spinning helicopter kick into the middle. Bell did well to control that mark in the air.
Gross has been good for Emerald down there in the back line. Tall timber.
Floating across Wood with the intercept. Gets it back again. He was involved at the start of that passage. Chipping in short. Finds Gosoa, who's had 6 or 7 in this quarter already. Won't he be going at 10 minutes? That's nearly a 50-metre penalty down there to Ferrito. Umpire deeming that was a little bit of momentum. It took him into him there. Low left foot kick. Idea was okay, but execution a little bit short of that. Petter takes the relieving mark. Chips the kick wide. Going after it there is Spalding, who started the game extremely productively. They've worked it into the corridor now. Still inside defensive 50, but ball in hand. Yeah, he does. And he finds one of those players who takes the mark in no hurry with ball in hand on the half-back flank. Goes long now to a contest. The big man to get a fly at the back, almost pulling that one in, was Kapanki. It falls down towards Wadsworth. Chips it over the top. Mark spilt there under some heat from Shelton, who was coming in hard. Yeah, a little bit. Certainly was a little bit. Fed around, left foot kicks a good one. Well weighted. Pakitas has it centre half forward. It's the deck. Flashing through, good hands. Pepe just got the hand pass away, intercepted again by Gosoa. He's had a fair bit of it. It becomes a foot race now. Snoxel should get there first. Had the runner coming for support. Fed it over the top towards Frater. Frater's chipping kick to the pocket. Didn't hit the target and bounced out of play.
It's a bit of a wild kick out of defence there, but I think it held up well. I think it's right where the Broncos want it.
just to get a few repeat entries. They're still getting well and truly outnumbered in terms of inside 50s, but they're hanging in there if they can take their chances. That's a flying shot towards the top of the square, almost marked. The kick came in there from Volta. There's still a chance at the fall. It hits the deck. They dribble it through for a goal to Bourne. Little outside of the boot kick, very similar to the one that Walker got at the other end. And they get their third. 3-1-19 to 3-5-23.
Yeah, that was an opportunity well taken there by Vaughan. The ball was bouncing around inside the 10-metre mark there, and just a quick little soccer off the ground, I think it was. Or did he pick it up? Either way.
I think it was certainly a dribble kick.
Yeah, quick little dribble. Take them when you can. Especially with Emerald on 3 goals, 5 of 23. Gembrook Cockatoo, 3 goals, 1-19. Your local footy hub scoreboard.
It feels like Emerald have very much had the better of the game, but they're only 4 points up. Gembrook's efficiency has been telling. Wadsworth with the clearance, but turned over. This guy's brought his own footy. So, yeah, it has. Now they take this one offhand. Shelton can straighten up and probably needed to. A wonky kick well out wide and out of bounds. It's like those training drills where you've got to kick on your opposite and people forget and then they end up sort of scissoring it out of the air. And we'll work back in. And the umpire's paid holding the ball. Well, he ended up getting the hand pass out, but the umpire must have deemed that there was a prior opportunity before Wadsworth released it. And has given that free kick to Volta. And Gembrook, quite remarkably, it's one of those ones if you're watching a game without a scoreboard, you'd be surprised to know that they could hit the front with this kick. It's been a much better term. The defence has kept them in the game, and now they're starting to get some rewards, and that is a nice kick if it's got the carry, and it does. It gets over the hands. And a decent reaction in the crowd from Gembrook Cockatoo. Of course, it's a bit of a rivalry fixture, and that's being displayed again here with a bit of a dust-up. And you see the central umpire calling for the ball quickly here because he wants to bounce it, which is the most effective way to stop a fight.
Feeling coming into it. Gajanovic may have said one or two things. It was a little foolhardy, would have wired up with passion.
But they've got themselves up and about, have Gembrook. Taken here by Wadsworth, who was penalised on that last indiscretion. He gave it to Pakitas, who gave it to Gajanovic, who was mentioned by Lance before. Might have been central to that skirmish. Karasonyi has it. Guides it inside 50. It bounces over the back. Weller trapped it well with one hand, then was able to pull it back in with the other. Neat kick up towards the wing position. They've got the numbers here, Gembrook, but did a pretty good job, Pakitas, to go in there and trap it and keep it in the area.
Let's bring it to ground again.
Flicking the hand pass wider, close to the line and over. This looking like the tightest of the matches so far, although Healesville, Mount Evelyn only a couple of goals in that one. We'll give you some scores as they come to us. Over the back. Tidy little hand pass given the pressure that was on him. Dinky kick, not sure that's gone the required distance. Umpire said it had. Bourne, who kicked a goal a couple of minutes ago, plays on, arches his back through the middle of the ground. Excellent kick forward. And a free kick will go their way. Yeah, definitely there. Werner, who's also kicked one in this quarter. Well-weighted ball into the pocket. No mark taken, but they might squeeze a shot at goal away here. And that's hit the goal umpire's leg, has it? He's paid the goal. Some shouts as to whether that's hit the post, but I reckon it's hit the goal umpire. Now, the goal umpire's got to determine where his leg was. So the boundary umpire is going to come in and consult. Now, the umpire was adamant, so he must have known his right leg was over the line. He might have been looking down at the line and thought, well, his right leg's behind the line. He's overruled himself, so there you go. So, deeming that if the goal umpire is on the line, that classified as a behind because the ball hasn't crossed the line. So perhaps some interference by goal umpire as Bourne sends them back in again. They might get a goal. In any case here in the pocket, no free kick. Emerald will barrel that out. Bounce end on end to the half-back flank. Good pressure out there and another holding the ball free kick. It into Marshall. Further afield. And they've got it at about 60. Chips into the corridor. Not a great kick, but they've got about 30 metres of space, which will work for them. Walker thumps it high. It'll just land inside 50. They're going to get a free kick for a jumper hold. Well, good strength just to push back there from Ferrito into his opponent and win the ball. So keeping the Ferrito name going, the vice captain lines up here from between the centre square and the 50-metre line. Gets plenty of distance on the kick, but drags it well out to the left and out of bounds on the full. Yeah, they're giving up a few shots at goal. Kick out finds its way through there towards Pepe. So Gembrook lead this game by 3 points. Worked into the centre half forward region. Knocked down there by Bourne. Wadsworth got his body in the way, but it's Wood that'll come away with it. Pulls the kick around on the left. That should be turned over. Mark taken. Emerald will move it quickly. Good kick into the middle of the ground. Very well directed. Karasonyi has it. True wing position. Pops it over the top. Kick had too much on it. Snoxall's done some nice things. That was a bit of a risky play there from Weller, but it's worked out okay. Bourne having a terrific 10 minutes. If that gets over the back, there a chance here. Walker didn't get a particularly kind bounce. Left foot dinky kick down towards half forward. Comes out here via Rich. Now the floating kick forward. Bourne. Low darting kick up towards the half-back flank and trickles over. Whistle a long way off the ball here. And it's going to be an Emerald free kick to Johnson. So a non-controlling umpire about 30 metres Emerald side of the contest, spotting a little hold going against Adams. Long kick towards goal. There's a way to the right-hand side.
I'd say 20 minutes.
3-6 to 4-2, 24 minutes gone in the quarter. Up to the wing position. No mark paid there. That was a little bit stiff. Well done by Volta to get the hand pass through. Umpire letting a few of these go in the last couple of minutes. Picked up there by Tilly, who throws it onto the boot. Long kick forward. Mark almost hauled in there by Williams. It goes over for a throw in as Williams throws the weight around a little bit.
Deliberately killed that one. Reset play, I suspect.
Yeah, and I don't think it's, as I said, there's no noticeable breeze to speak of. They've just lifted their output up around the contest. Guys like Bourne, Weller, Marshall, certainly Goisoa have been particularly prominent. Snoxall going up in the ruck and then tries to shovel a hand pass out. Quick kick forward, works out okay. It was thrown onto the boot by Tilly and lands on the lap. The benefits of playing in front, and Gembrook can line up for their 5th goal. And the second to Werner it would be. So Werner, about 20 metres out, slight angle, should be able to guide this through. Keeps it low and puts it through for their 4th in a row. As the take an 8-point advantage, 5-2-32 to 3-6-24 as the bell goes. So 2 goals to Werner, singles to Volta, Walker and Bourne. And for Emerald, 2 to Johnson, both in the first quarter. He then kicked 2 behinds in that term. And Bell with 1. 4 goals, 1 to 3 behinds in that quarter of football. A telling one for Gembrook, who are also searching for their first win of the season. Both these teams fairly soundly beaten over the first couple of rounds, and it's Gembrook who hold the advantage as it stands at the moment. We are here, of course, for Healesville Greyhounds, and a reminder also you can tune in to the Outer East Football Netball Show every Friday night with Stephen Aiden, talking about all the big issues from last week. And if you want to get your reserves under 19s, even your women's side filmed this year, make sure you contact Gameface Vision. For more information, we'll take a break from Emerald, and plenty more to come soon. Sweet.
Changing their numbers from when I did this up yesterday. That's fucking good, man.
Yeah, I don't know who number 4 is.
No.
For Gembrook, yeah. For the other, Liam Henson, that's the one, yeah. So what number was he originally down to? He was wearing 10 originally.
Try not to do that when we're on.
Yep. Welcome back to Emerald. Massive second quarter from the visitors, 4 goals to zip to give themselves an 8-point advantage, having trailed by 14 at the first change. Lance, your thoughts on, I guess, how that happened, or what they were able to do to turn their fortunes around so effectively?
I think Gembrook were just stronger at the ball during that quarter, a bit more physical, definitely out to cause a contest, and of course when you cause a contest, the ball goes free, and you can get rewarded for a good contest. So I think that really played into them. They also did a great job, as you said. Emerald were kept goalless during that quarter. They really stopped David Johnson in his tracks. He was unable to get too close to the ball. He was very well tagged. I'll have to keep an eye out on the tagging. They did a very good job. But yeah, Gembrook are really winning the contests, winning the clearances, and they're challenging Emerald on their home ground. And let's see how they respond.
Can they get some momentum back their way? So the majority of the goals, 7 of the 8 in this match, scored to the left of your stream. And just the one to the other end, which was kicked by Walker through the opening term, or the back end of the opening term. What happens now with the ball about to be bounced to kick things off for us in this all-important third term?
Both teams didn't really do much in the second half of the game last week, at both their respective hit-outs.
It can be the issue trying to maintain that momentum over the course of a game. Left foot kick up towards attacking 50. Bounces in front there of Freighter. And we'll have another bounce. High ball lands about 35 metres out. They've got a chance on the front and centre to snap. Comes down to the bounce. It goes across the face. Williams was pushing into the space, but it trickles over for a throw-in. Lands about 30 metres from goal. Guided over the back there by Kapanki. Kick lands right in the middle of the ground. No effective possession. Snoxall's there. Tries to feed that out towards Volta. Out it comes again, so they'll pull the kick cleverly in the right. There are a lot of Emerald players there. They've almost managed to haul in that mark. Taken by Alcott. Tries to bring it around. Head over it. Brought to ground in the tackle. And we'll have ourselves a bounce again with Gembrook doing a lot of this early attacking. First goal of the second half going to be a significant one if they can land it. And they've got a free kick here which will give them that opportunity. So line up. Important shot at goal. Looking for their 6th. Very deliberate in the approach. Crosses the centre square, crosses 50, kicks from 49. Plenty of distance in the kick, but drags it out to the right and one behind.
Local footy hub scoreboard. Emerald 3 goals, 6-24. Gembrook, Cockatoo 5 goals, 3-33.
Delivered neatly up the ground. It's one back, little short dinky kick inside, just the required distance. Alcott thought about sprinting off, not sure if that was going to be paid or not.
15.1 metres, I think that was. Really tightening up across the midfield, just holding it in there forward half. Break the gate.
So they've been peppering through the first couple of minutes of this term. And that one drifts right again and just sneaks in for a behind. So 2 behinds to start the second half. 5-4-34 to 3-6-24. A good grab as they ready to load up and send it back in. And a good defensive mark taken. He did some really nice things through that first quarter, Marshall. And he's got it there about 52 metres from home. They've had both their shots from basically this position on the ground. That one's a little bit straighter, didn't quite have the carry, and it's parried through for a behind. So 3 behinds to start the second half. 5-5-35 plays 3-6-24. Worked up to the halfback flank. Close to the boundary out there and helped over by McKimmie. They just need to get a bit of that run that they had through that first term. They're being very well restricted. As it's worked into the middle of the ground by the Emerald defence. Tidied up very well there by Dempsey. Works it wide, finds a man still in the long sleeves there in Webb. Is it a pretty good afternoon? Johnson with the sticky hands, couldn't quite hang on. Floating kick across the pocket. Close to the boundary, kept alive by Gembrook, who have the numbers. Sweeping hand pass. And then worked up in the direction of Alcott, who had shot at goal a few moments ago. Centering kick again. The intercept mark comes from this very strong halfback unit. We've done a terrific job, Gembrook. Just got a little bit tidier on the way out. That was kind of their undoing through that first quarter when they were winning it back but then giving it back. Bouncing end over end sort of kick was cut off by Gross. As the sun that was out earlier has sort of gone behind the clouds. Shouldn't get too much rain, but conditions getting a little bit darker. But they've got an inside 50 now. They've been controlled in the early part of the game, but in the early part of the quarter, but haven't conceded a goal. So can they jag one back themselves? It's taken outside here by Edwards. Kick goes wide, a little bit ill-directed. Not a lot they can do necessarily with that. It's going to come back in. And another one. That one drops well short. Mark taken in the opposite back pocket. The runners are on. Man who you mentioned at halftime has been prominent in Snoxville should go by hand as they work it up here towards Weller. Keeps the kick low, sliding in and taking the mark is Wood. Worked up towards attacking 50. That's almost a mark. Williams has it. Gives the hand pass off to a runner. That's definitely out of play. Is connecting really well, Bourne, with a torpedo on the run. So it's an 11-point game, still relatively low scoring. So sizable advantage all the same. High contact certainly on Gross at the fall of that. It's Bailey Gross, because you've got Ethan out there as well. Good hands. Very nice mark climbing over the top there from Schultz. True centre wing position between the interchange gates. Sets that kick up to about 45, and an easy uncontested mark there to Hansen, who gets himself into a tangle, coughs it up, squeezing the kick out of there is Volta. Didn't go the required distance. Williams snaps it towards goal, and they continue to pepper. That's 4 behinds in the quarter, and the lead is 12. 5-6 to 3-6. They trailed 3-3 to 1-1 at quarter time. Vujanovic brings it out. Nice hand pass wide there from Pedder. And that's a good kick forward. Strong lead there from Lewis. Lewis will go with a dribbly, bouncy kick towards goal. It runs across the face for his second behind. Comes out here to Tilly. Captain's done some nice things. Alcott. Good into the middle. And that's a nice kick. Just had a little bit too much on it. Loping into space there was Christopher Bourne. He still got the footy in the end. Tried to get the kick away and holding the ball. Pretty strong tackle. Bit of push and shove there, but trying to get boot to ball. Well, that's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting that the initial decision of holding the ball and coming in and overturning it, I'm not sure what you're supposed to do in that situation when he's trying to kick the footy. You're trying to effectively drag him off the kick. I know there are dangerous tackles, but technically they all would be if that's the case. Yeah. So Bourne, can he capitalise on that? It's not a bad looking kick, it's just missed. 5 behinds in the quarter. Long ball down the middle. One-on-ones up ahead. It comes to Webb. There's a sore Gembrook player at the fall who landed heavily in that marking contest. Might have had the wind taken out of him there. Good hands by Davies. Comes through here towards Dempsey. The 223s on the ground have had pretty strong games, and it's the other one so who's a little bit injured. Getting to his feet there, so I think he certainly had the stuffing taken out of him there. Worked forward. Short kick down towards the wing position. Well controlled there by McKimmie. Then kick smothered, but it goes towards Wadsworth. Pokes the kick short, and it gets there. Now Johnson turned his back, had an option in the pocket, gave it back to Wadsworth, who thumps a long drop punt towards goal, marked in the square. So Gembrook hold on to it, and that works out okay. Finds Alcott at a big third term. It's close to the line. Interesting one for the boundary umpire. Right on the paint is his call. Werner, who kicked 2 second quarter goals, has the mark. High ball to half forward. Push in the back. Difficult one to argue. Floating kick. And a bounce just as Adams escaped. Next goal, we haven't had one in this quarter, is going to be crucial. It's 5 behinds to 1. Good pace shown here by Michael Bourne. Kick forward, almost pulled in there by Alcott, who then lays a tackle on Wadsworth, and a high tackle. High fend off was the call. And Henson was just making sure so he didn't give the ball back to the wrong player and concede a 50-metre penalty. Floats the kick wide, and a couple of them getting their way there. Alcott feeds the hand pass through towards Marshall. Marshall off a step, bombs it to the pocket. Just inside the field, Werner couldn't hold on to the mark. And it goes over. Punch down. Yeah, they've got a few running options. Good pace there from Freighter. Trying to spike it forward is Volta. And Gembrook makes something of this. Not quite.
We're back into the arm wrestle point of the game where someone's just hasn't quite found the momentum.
Yeah, who can blink first? Good speed from Ferrito. Took on the tackler, just got it away. Just out of there by Gajanovic. Good tackle. Looking at some of those other scores when we get a moment across Div 1, and we'll have a look at some of the others as well. As Gembrook trying to go inside 50 again, they will via a fist up to the edge of 50. Gajanovic sends it to the half-forward flank, trying to mark that on the chest, and the lead was Dempsey, and it was spoiled away by Weller. Hillsville, 7:10.52, lead Mount Evelyn, 4:6.30. Warriellic, 13:6.84, lead Officer, 4:5.29. Wandon, 13:5.83, lead Monbulk, 2:6.18 at half-time. So at the fall of it, we'll have a bounce. Stepping through traffic outside of the boot. Bananas it wide and out of bounds. So just clearing the line. So Emerald with a chance to reload. Janovic has some runners out here. Finds the target in Gazard, who can give the hand pass off to Edwards. They can attack the top of the square. Good looking kick, and the mark is there. In the square to Kapanki, who should be able to kick the goal and break the deadlock, the 15-minute arm wrestle.
Very effective today, Kapanki. Seen much of the goals though.
Directly in front, close range, pops it through. And it brings it back to a kick the difference, 4:7.31 to 5:7.37. So 1 goal 1 to 5 behinds.
Goal scorers so far, David Johnson for 2. Bell has kicked 1 and Kapaki gets off the mark with 1, as we just saw. For Gembrook, Volta 1, Michael Bourne 1, Werner and Brody Walker with 2 goals apiece. Played roughly around 18 minutes into the third quarter here.
So they've been going the 25 as a general rule. Quick kick forward from Freighter. Mark taken well on the chest by Ferrito. Used the body well. Man on the mark. The vice-captain of the opposition, Gross, is 51 metres from goal. Ferrito looks for options, then sets it up with a long left foot kick. Getting the fly in from the side was Bourne, almost took the mark. Williams trying to soccer it off the ground. It's in the square and will have a bounce. So important ball here to be won. That might have been high on Pepe, but umpire saw it a bit differently. Left foot snap. Had a bit of carry on it. Gembrook with the numbers at the back here. If they can get a block on, there'd be a chance to go back inside 50 again. Not the prettiest looking kick, but might pay off okay for them. They try to sell a bit of candy, just get the hand pass away. Time was almost against them. Soxel's in there at the fall. They're scrambling after it. Trying to go off the ground there was Ferrito, and the mark is taken by Gajanovic. Probably only went 8 or 9 metres, but umpire was satisfied with that. And a push in the back there, a little bit of tunnelling would be the rule against Gembrook to Gazard.
It's an ambitious kick, though. He's not a tall young man.
Finds a target there in Pepe, who's got a bit of a cult following up here. To centre half forward. So ball up.
Edwards is doing some
Yes,
work in the past 5 minutes.
quite a bit of it. Loops the hand pass over the top. Pulls that kick around. Good mark taken there by Gross. Not a 50-metre penalty as a player was leaving the area rather than coming into it. Good ball forward to Karasonyi. Into the pocket. Use of the body was pretty good there from Bell. Just didn't quite hang on to the mark. End over end bouncing kick is a beauty from Lewis. Back-to-back goals and they level the scores.
Well, 5 goals, 7:37 apiece. Emerald and Gembrook on your local footy hub scoreboard. 20 minutes into the third quarter.
All here.
2 or 3 as we can. And it's looking pretty good here. Looking pretty tight for a cracker last quarter here.
All of that for Hillsville Greyhounds. Big opportunity for one of these two sides to get off the mark on the season. Tight contest. They both won 5 games last year. They're both zipping 2. Traditional fixture. These neighbours just down the road. Good clean take out of the middle by Gembrook. Low ball forwards. Effective Williams. It bounces off his chest. Goes in there and lays a tackle. Just couldn't quite hang on. Seeing the Anzac jumpers looking superb, both of these teams.
And of course, make sure to tune into the OEFN show every Friday night with Stephen Aiden, talking about all the big issues of the week.
So Emerald perhaps enjoying a tiny period of momentum, at least on the scoreboard. Gembrook with other ideas. Hand pass forward. Nice work there by Alcott. Good speed from Bourne. If it sits, it'd be a chance. It doesn't sit. He kept it in front. Did gain about 30-odd metres. Oh, that was a little bit dangerous coming through. Didn't swing the boot, though, so that's okay. Emerald have done well to get that out. Now they've got some run. Can feed it by hand to Webb. Crosses through the middle. High, long kick in the Johnson direction, who charges after it. That's roughly where Lewis kicked his goal. He'll go the snap and miss near side. 2 goals, 3, but it gives them the lead.
5 goals, 8:38 Emerald. Gembrook 5 goals, 7:37 on the local scoreboard. Gembrook can make something out of this kicking.
Short ball into the pocket. So they've given up the lead. Only a couple of minutes, you'd think, left in the quarter. Back they go towards Weller. Short, somewhat risky ball to Van Dam. Hits the ground running. Goes to Williams in the middle. Couldn't hang on to the mark. Good ball wide there from the man who kicked their first goal in Walker. Now good low mark taken there by Bourne, who's popped up in some space through this quarter. He hit his last set shot pretty well. It just missed. Gets a probably slightly better look at goal with this one. So a behind levels the scores. A goal puts them back in front. Kicks it high. Pushes it right. And the mark is taken inside the field of play. And a chance for Gembrook via their captain to kick a captain's goal. 5 behinds. Will he go the banana, or will he attempt to drive this one through? on the drop punt. Shaping for the drop punt. Does he improve the angle at all? Comes around now and kicks the banana. And he got a 50-metre penalty, I reckon, but he's kicked the goal. So it doesn't matter. I think the umpire deemed that there was an infringement over the mark, but a 50-metre penalty not required as they take the lead 6-7-43 to 5-8-38. The skipper getting one very close to three-quarter time.
That whole passage of play from their defensive 50 into their forward half was very strong. They've been doing that all day, just finding the targets, finding space, kicking it through, and just happened that Tilly was able to rescue that in the pocket there from that big attempted goal there.
Feels like they're, even though they've given up the last two goals before that, playing the slightly stronger footy of the two sides.
I think they're just relying on physicality and pace.
Schnoxel.
I suspect Emerald's just relying on physicality.
Yeah, well, Petter wrestles that one out, bombs it forward in the contested mark. So the clearance work for the last couple of goals for both sides, the last couple of shots from both sides has been telling. And Johnson's going to have a sixth shot at goal here. He's kicked 2 goals, 3. Kicked 2 in the first quarter, both at that end of the ground. And it'll be the final play of the term. So as it stands, Gembrook lead by 5 points. This to restore the lead for Emerald. Directly in front, 40 metres out, kicks the goal. 3 goals, 3 to Johnson, who's having a big say in proceedings. So a goal in the last minute to both sides, and Emerald take the lead, 6-8-44 to 6-7-43. Goals to Emerald. Johnson kicked 3, singles to Kapenki, Lewis and Bell. For Gembrook, Cockatoo, Werner with 2, singles to Volta, Walker, Bourne and Tilly. So as it stands, a 1-point game heading into the final term. Massive quarter ahead from Emerald. We'll bring it all your way thanks to Game Face. What a big last quarter we've got ahead of us here for Hillsville Greyhounds. It is Emerald 6-8-44, Gembrook Cockatoo 6-7-43. A point the difference between these rivals in this Anzac weekend clash. Lance, how do you see it? I'm not sure how to pick a winner. The scoring end says Gembrook, but it's a very difficult one to read.
You're right. I think it's just going to be. I think Gembrook have been stronger with their attacking footy, but you never know.
And the first clearance on the way of the skipper Tilly, although he was just held up, so hand pass was cut off. Knocked down, floating kick forward. And a chance here for Emerald to run towards goal. Sliding the hand pass out here towards Edwards. Edwards kicks off a step, high to about 20. Pepe almost taking the grab. It comes out again. Chance for Johnson for his 4th. Sprays it off the outside of the boot and kicks it out on the full.
Could well be be a handy point there. You never know, as they say.
Might have just missed everything, I think. So a handy non-point for Gembrook. So the equal of a handy point in terms of it not being one for Gembrook. Long thumping torpedo. Good to see those come out these days. Tilly, the captain, in towards Van Dam. Left foot kicking quick as a flash there inside 50. It tunnel balled through the forwards. Picked up and launched back towards the wing position. All of the numbers here with Gembrook. They can straighten up via Weller. The kick was pretty good. Finds its way there. And that was a risky... They got a little bit too bold on their approach there. Just got to settle things down. Long way to go. So into the middle, it was a risky kick. Just the hand knocking it away from Volta might have been enough. Picked up there by Snoxall. And it's just held up right in the middle of the ground where we would have started the quarter. Which the old Crow throw, and at full stretch, it's that man again, Johnson, who will have his 8th shot at goal. He's kicked 3-3 and 1 complete miss. Yeah, he certainly had no trouble whatsoever from range. So you'd back him in to get the trip. 45 metres out. Good looking kick. Big first goal of the term. Johnson's got 4. 7-8-50 plays 6-7-43. Emerald have now kicked 4 of the last 5 after Gembrook had that good start to the third quarter but couldn't put it on the board.
Emerald just found a little bit more height and a bit more power in that forward play. Gembrook, they're fast and nimble, but when Emerald get the ball and they find their targets, hard to stop them.
So they've got their tails up for the time being. And they go out of the middle at target again. Full stretch, almost pulling in the mark. Johnson might have been pushed in the back at ground level. Dempsey trying to work it through. There's Johnson again. Couldn't shovel out the hand pass. And the umpire calls for a bounce.
Crucial clearance there. Gembrook have mostly won the clearances today, I'd say, but Emerald are turning the tide.
Sweeping hand pass to no one in particular from Schultz into the middle of the ground, and they've given the free kick away. The Van Dam, that's nearly 50 in terms of pure axe. It just about would be. Driving kick wide. Good mark taken by the captain. Tilly gets around the player on the mark quite comfortably. Thumps it long. If it gets over the back, they could be away here. Good mark taken by Williams, who's been a nearly player throughout the game so far. That's not a bad kick into the corridor. At about 3 options in space, and finds the target. Got another one short, and now they'll get the shot at goal.
Well, it's interesting because they didn't have anybody near forward 50 until they pushed forward.
Yeah, just swarmed into space and got back quicker, and Freighter can have the shot. Directly in front, 45 metres from goal. And it holds the line. It was flirting with that left post a little bit, but gets it there. And a goal each to start the last term, and about 5 minutes in, it's 7-8-50 to 7-7-49. Just what we would have hoped. These two sides desperate for a result.
That just showed Gembrook's agility in getting the ball from their defence straight up to their forward 50 in not a lot of time at all. Just finding space and evading Emerald's players, which they've been doing fairly well across the course of the game.
Snoxall in the tap. These centre clearances are going to be vital. There's been some goals coming from that source. Ferrito in there now, pushing back hard. There was Volta. It is a good tackle. Pinned an arm. Didn't give him a lot of a chance to dispose of it, and rewarded for the perfect tackle. Now players just having to control the tempers a little bit here. We've had a couple of skirmishes. Long ball punched over for a throw-in. No, they don't. No, they do not. Little dinky kick. Didn't go all that far. Round the body. Approaching it, but couldn't take the mark. There was Schultz. He's had good hands otherwise throughout the course of the game. Good contest down there. Johnson trying to win it. Johnson gets the hand pass back. Webb to the pocket. Good tackle put on there by Bourne. Straightens up, shoots towards goal and kicks a gem from the pocket. The sharp shot at goal there. It was Pepe the one that got it through. And the floodgates opening up a little bit here in terms of scoring in the last 15 minutes. Latter stages of the third, and then early part here. 7 points, 8-8-56 to 7-7-49.
Gembrook at bay now. That they'll be doing. Gembrook will just keep surging forward as they have been all game.
One down again here to Wadsworth, who's had a good influence on the contest. Gembrook needing to be careful. Close to the boundary and over it goes.
It's definitely a battle of the clearances. I reckon whoever wins each centre clearance has gone on to kick that goal. Interested in getting that stat up.
Yeah, goals from that source. Yeah, pass fed back. High floating kick. Curling kick towards the top of the square. No mark. Gembrook under the pump here. Brought to ground in the tackle. No prior. And we'll have a bounce. Hand pass wide. They get a tiny bit of space to work with here, Wood. Mark taken by Edwards, who can send them back. Long kick to the top of the square. Gembrook have the numbers, the numerical advantage. The captain takes the mark. Now, he launched their last goal from deep in defence. That's a wonky kick on the way out. Not his best ball. It's an Emerald possession with the man on the mark on 50. Chips into the pocket and finds Dempsey. So Dempsey to line them up. Another important kick. Oscar Dempsey, 45 metres out. Good looking kick. And they're starting to take their chances now. And that pushes it to 13 points. Almost game high for them. They led by 14 in the first term, 9-8-62 to 7-7-49.
Starting to wrest momentum away. I have to say, to get your reserves, 19s, or even your women's side film this year, contact Game Face Vision for more information.
Chat to Glenn and his team. Healesville 9-12-66, lead Mount Evelyn 4-7-31, Warriallic 15-9-99 over Officer 6-6-42. And Wandon well on top, 17-8-110 to Monbulk 3-6-24 in that contest. Just weaving the ball around inside the phone booth. They need to get things happening here to Gembrook. Mark just about should have been paid there towards Bourne, who's now surrounded. So Bourne buzzing around the side of this. Wadsworth gets possession of it first, brought to ground. Handed down. And kicking in danger. So Gembrook here with a chance to go inside 50 via Walker. Asked a bit there of Williams. They have got the recovery at ground level. They can straighten up and snap towards goal, and they've got it. So not done with yet. Ferrito gets it. And it's back to a 7-point game at 8-7-55 to 9-8-62.
Passage of play, very, very desperate play there from Gembrook. Just finding their opportunities when they can.
So effectively only a goal in it. Looking at the other live fixtures across the other division, we have Yarra Glen 6-11-47 leading Yay 4-12-36. Warburton belting Yarra Junction 23-25, 163 to 117. Powtown with a bye. No score yet in the Alexandra Pakenham game to provide for you, so hopefully we'll have an update on that soon. So just over a kick in it. And that's worked.
Very tightly held.
Clearances as players fatigue a little bit. The game opens up. They're going to become crucial. Bourne was a target of that handball. It was knocked away from him. They should get the ball anyway, but they took on 2 tackles, and that's holding it in the middle of the ground.
Just reminds him who won that tackle.
About halfway through the quarter, so still plenty of time. Pepe's kick had a couple of options. Calling it in and driving it down towards the top of the square. The big fella on the lead takes the mark, Kapanki. It's an important kick either way, even a behind. So he lines up and misses. Sneaks it in for a behind. So about 13 minutes in the term, 9-9-63 to 8-7-55. Thumping kick down the middle. Plenty of carry on that. It's going to come back though. Petter and now eventually Edwards. Long ball down the line. Good punch. Lands in the hands there of Trott. Good release. Can they keep it inside the field of play? They can. Frater goes forward. Good mark taken on the edge of 50. They've got a loose player at the top of the square. Kick has to be good, and it is. Gave them every chance on the lead. And the mark is taken. And a chance for Werner to kick a third, potentially.
Right on the wing.
Kicks from 45. Important ball, but shanks it out to the left. Just sneaks it in for a behind. So cancels out that last miss. 8-8 plays 9-9.
First of all, they have to find the ball. And play. That's how these things work. A What's it just gone over here at Chandler Reserve?
Relying on the artificial for the last 10 minutes or thereabouts. 7-point game, 9-9 to 8-8. Low, flat kick out. Should come back in. The captain, Tilly, took on a couple of tackles.
Give anything away there.
He's given the all clear.
Changes off the bench here. Rotation for Gembrook.
Quick snap again from Tilly inside 50. It's got over the back. All important bounce here. They charging into the tackle and holding it. So if it wasn't high, they were probably going to be left to pay that decision. The initial tackle sort of lowish at the shoulder area. If the player's driving into it, then that's generally let go. Schultz can line them up. So inside the last 7 or 8 minutes of the game, about 17 gone in the last turn. The margin sits at 7. What will it be after this kick? Schultz on the approach, and the margin is 1. And all results on the table. 9-8-62 plays 9-9-63.
This game isn't dead yet, not by a long shot. I think that was a crucial tackle there. Didn't see him coming. And yes, it was a very professional tackle. I liked it a lot. The question is, as we've seen, as I mentioned before, and as we've seen, whoever wins the centre clearance tends to win the goal, tends to win, get the goal. So who's going to win the centre clearance?
Taken out of the middle. It is the centre clearance. It goes the way of Emerald. Karasonyi set up their last shot at goal. Front and centre here to Wadsworth. Squeezes the kick forward. Taken front and centre there by Dempsey. Tries to hand pass it through. Gembrook with the numbers, but have to be careful. Quickly onto the boot there from Adams. Not a bad kick out to the wing. They need to get this out of bounds, Gembrook. They don't. Emerald sent it back inside 50. Well trapped under a fair bit of pressure. There was Henson. It's still close to the line and over for a throw-in.
There was about 6 Gembrook players there to Emerald's 3. It swarmed down the back line.
Ball toss back in. Calls of dragging it in. Taken out of there by Gazard. High ball. Another goal would be crucial here. No mark either way. Here's Johnson. Can he kick a fifth? Floats it high towards goal. Bounce is going to be interesting. It's end on end and then goes over for a throw in.
Crucial passage of play here. Interestingly, I think Gembrook have doubled the amount of players around the ball now that
Another high snap to the top of the square. Gembrook with the numbers, but they don't yet have the footy. They can see to behind from a fair distance. And that's an important point. Might take the draw off the table. Floating kick down the middle. Wadsworth couldn't hang on to the mark. Gembrook with an important ball one here. Can streak. They've got open space ahead. Ferrito with a bounce. Goes with a long left foot kick. Important ball to be won in the air. No mark taken. We tick to the 20th minute. All important ball at ground level. Taken again there. Like Fratter close to the line. Not a bad result for both sides to regroup on the throw in.
very lucky there because I think that actually came off the foot of an Emerald player. Very lucky.
Could have been loading up inside 50 again, Gembrook. Left behind momentarily there. Size. Hand pass goes backwards behind Hansen. Toe poked into space there from Volta. Little pull on the jumper. Hovering over the top of the ball. Might get penalised for that, and he will. Webb giving them a fair bit of drive through the game. Sends it to Pakitas on the far side. Only a few minutes to play. 2-point game. Long left foot kick down the line. Good mark taken, and they play on. Driving it to half forward. They'll get another opportunity here. Moving it quickly to the square. They've got a loose player in the pocket. Then they hit the target. No, great spoil by the skipper. Tilly works it towards the line. Dempsey, underground hand pass. Big ball to win again. Johnson stripped of it and holding it. Now to Gembrook, pull the trigger and go quickly. They'll cut through the middle of the ground. Bourne thumps it forward, turns it over. Spalding. Yeah. Trying to create something closer to goal as the uncontested mark taken by Petter. Just floated in. Yeah. The only one who wanted it. Now they're playing a little bit of tempo stuff as a mark taken by Gojanovic. Still a bit of time. Wobbly kick up inside. Want to get at the full. Where does this land? Back in the hands of Emerald. As they try to slow it down. Floating kick. Oh, good mark. Pulled in. Beauty. Goa now. Can they load into the middle of the ground? Again, the numbers are with Emerald. And again, just a bit of kick to kick. Gojanovic goes across the middle of the ground. Hansen will move it quickly to Webb. Webb on the wing. Is time becoming a factor? Comes back to Hansen. No one behind him at present. Goes inside 50, climbing high at the back. That was nearly a spectacular mark from Johnson. Can Gembrook go here? Bourne hits the ground running, picks it up, slides through the middle, just gets the hand pass away, but hit the deck. And the umpire said that was enough. Great tackle. Webb into the middle. Finds Pepe. Wadsworth takes the mark. Have they done enough? They'll go wider here to Gross. Long ball inside, mark taken. They're going to have to go, Gembrook. The middle marshal, all spilt. Pepe, hand passes it through. A goal would definitely finish it. Edwards. Gembrook get it back again. Is it last roll of the dice stuff? They hit a target on the way out. Now they've got to go. Woods onto the left, down the line. Numbers with Emerald. Ball hits the deck. Coughed up. Here's a chance. Over the top. Williams pulls the trigger on the left. It's going to be a free kick, I think, down the ground, is it? It is. Williams dumped as he kicked. It's looped over the top. They're going to mark it in the square, are they? No. Time to recover and kick the goal. And Gembrook hit the front. They all go to Williams, who's on the ground, hurt after that contest. There's a few Gembrook players with hands on their heads. Desperate effort to carry that ball the length of the ground.
No, that was just great play. You could see that Emerald were doing everything right, pushing forward. There was a great contest down the line here. It was just Gembrook just swooped on the ball, kept pushing forward, finding targets, and reward for effort. Volta kicks the goal.
And they were necessarily unselfish. Here's a high contact free kick. Now this is going to be an interesting call. Not a 50-metre penalty. Have they got time to find a target inside 50? Long ball. Johnson goes up. Couldn't take the mark, and it's over for a throw-in. Is there time enough on the throw-in? Going to have to be clean from this as a free kick, and it goes the way of Emerald. So they will get time to load up inside 50. To the pocket. Important ball to win in the air. It goes over for a throw-in. Must only be seconds to play. Is it last roll of the dice? Ball back in play. Comes to the back. Gave them so many chances, did Hirasoni. Was caught high. Well, there were shouts for holding the ball. And I think the siren has sounded. Did it sound before the free kick? It's going to be a kick after the siren. Jovanovic, who sent them inside 54 times in the last 5 minutes to give them a chance to ice the game, can now win it himself. Man on the mark is 47 metres from goal. Tired legs at the end of a long day. Has he got the carry? Is it straight? He's got it there for a goal. Emerald win it at the death. The reserves players running onto the ground, everyone off the bench. Kids, fans, water boys, runners. Everyone out there is Emerald. It's fair to say it was a somewhat controversial decision, but nothing controversial about the kick itself. A beauty from long range.
Even from all the jeering from the outer. So at the end of the game, on our footy, on our local footy hub scoreboard, Emerald 10 goals 10, 70 defeats Gembrook Cockatoo 10 goals 8, 68. 2-point winners.
The lead changing twice in the last 2 minutes. And Emerald emerged victorious in this clash against their local rival. 4 goals to Johnson, all singles to Kapanki, Lewis, Bell, Jovanovic the winner, Pepe and Dempsey. And for Gembrook, Volta and Werner with 2 singles to Ferrito, Walker, Schultz, Michael Bourne, Freighter and the skipper Tilly. Great game of footy, heartbreak for Gembrook, no question. But a clutch result for Emerald, who opened their account, get their first win of the season. We're signing off here from Emerald. It was a terrific game on the Anzac weekend. The home side saluting by 2 points.
Sure. Sure, why not?
That'll do.